Hey, I'm Vinny and this is Makeify. So today I'm going to show you how to make a flash diffuser, which is great for macro photography, also good for portrait photography. And this particular design, I think it might be the best macro diffuser I've ever used. And it's very easy to make and really inexpensive. So awesome. This design is not completely my own design, just disclaimer. I will put a link to the original article that I got the idea from down in the video description. But I've made some modifications to that design, and I've also scaled it so that you could make a diffuser for a smaller size flash like this, something you might have in a Micro Four Thirds camera, or you can make a larger version that will work very nicely on a full size flash like this. So I'm going to show you how to make it. All right, so you don't need very many supplies to do this project, which is nice. It makes this project cheap and simple. You will need two pieces of craft foam, a piece of white, and a piece of black. If you use the kind with the adhesive on one side, it makes this project super simple. So I'd recommend that. You're also going to need a piece of this, they call it plastic canvas. It's plastic mesh that's flexible. You can find this at most craft stores typically in the yarn section. So you need one piece of this, any color, because it's going to get hidden anyway, so whatever you can find. And then some Velcro. I like using Velcro strip that is sticky on one side. It has the adhesive on one side. And then you need some way to attach the diffuser to the flash. My way that I prefer is to use this Velcro wrap, and it's the stuff that has the hook on one side and the loop on the other. There are other ways of attaching the diffuser to the flash, and I'll talk about that, but this is my preferred method. So really, that's all the supplies you're going to need, except for some little odds and ends that you probably already have at home anyway. I'll talk about those as we get to them. But all in all, these supplies are going to run you about $10. I'll have links down in the video description to the supplies and the tools I use if you're curious about the exact tools I'm using. And then the only other thing you're going to need is the template, and I have made this template that you can download for free, link down in the description, and I have it in two sizes, small size for smaller size flashes, and then a larger size for full size flashes. And the full size one, it's too big to fit on one sheet of paper, so you have to print out two pieces, and then there are little markings that you can just line up, and you just tape these together, and then you have your template. Pretty simple. But just to keep things easy here, for this video I'm going to be making the smaller size just so I don't have to deal with taping the template together. But it's not that big of a deal. All right, so you're going to need to print out 3 copies of the template. One for the white piece of craft foam, one for the black piece of craft foam, and one for the plastic canvas. And we're going to stick these to each of those sheets. I like to use spray adhesive, but you can use like a glue stick or just about any kind of glue, or even maybe double-sided tape, or just any way you can come up with to stick these to those pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the back of the template, and then I'm going to stick that to the back side of the pieces of craft foam, so the side that has the paper that's protecting the adhesive. All right, so with the template stuck to the back of the craft foam, I'm just gonna cut out the outer outline, and I'm using a little utility knife. An X-Acto knife would work, or even a pair of scissors. All right, the outlines are cut out. Now I'm just going to cut out these triangles and then cut just single slits right there. And as you can see, I'm using a straight edge. It just makes this very easy and precise, but you could do this by hand. All right, so we need to take a third copy of the template and cut out a section of the plastic canvas. We just need this inner gray area. A couple ways you can do this. The way I prefer to do it is to cut this out of the paper and then attach it with spray adhesive and then just cut around the template. Alternatively, you could cut this out of the paper, just put it onto the plastic canvas, trace it with a marker, and then cut around the outline. Either way works, but I'm gonna do it my way. And if you line this up, actually we'll do it this way. If you line this up with two edges, that's two less cuts you have to make. And then, the nice thing about the spray adhesive is it's very easy to come back and remove the template, and you're good. So we've got a piece of black foam, piece of white foam, and the canvas backbone. Make sure all the cuts are made. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna peel off the backing, exposing the adhesive on one of these. And this adhesive is quite strong, so trying to be careful. I'm using the paper, the back of the paper, so I don't get stuck to it. Now, I'm going to line up this guy, the backbone, and stick it down. And you don't really have a lot of, can't really do this more than once. Once this starts to get stuck down, it's on there, and you'll have to, if you screw up, you'll have to cut a new piece of foam. So, all right, now we got the backbone on one. Doesn't matter which one you do first. And now we're just gonna peel off. Oops, that was just the template. I'm gonna peel off the backing on the other foam. And this is the tricky part. If you're going to screw up, it's probably going to be at this point. I'm going to keep some of the backing on just to kind of get this lined up, because this is the tricky part. Because once these two adhesives touch each other, they're stuck. So need to get this initial alignment just right. So far, so good. Now my alignment should be good, so I'm just going to peel some of the backing off, stick that part down, making sure we're still aligned. Good. Peel off some more. This top part is the tricky part, because it wants to stick to itself. If you really screw this part up, you'll have to cut new foam. But if it's just off by a little bit, like see, yeah, I'm off by a little bit here and here. Not a big deal. What I will do is just come back through and just trim off that excess. If you're a complete perfectionist, well, you'll have to probably cut multiple pieces of foam, but for me, just getting it pretty close is good enough. So we'll just trim off our mistakes. One area you'll definitely want to check is these slits. Actually, I did a pretty good job. Oh, that one's kind of, yeah. That one, it didn't line up perfectly when I stuck them together, so I'm just going to have to trim this just a little bit. Now it's time for the Velcro. And the way I like to do this is I like to do this double-sided Velcro first, the Velcro wrap. So what I do, unroll some of this, and this is going to go right like here on the black side. This, I'll show you, this will wrap around the flash. So actually it's probably easier to do it this way. So this wraps around the flash like that. So we just need enough of this to go all the way around. So the lazy way to do it is just to eyeball it first. So that is plenty. So we'll just cut this here. Okay. And then the way I like to do this is I put the soft side, the loop side, up, so that, you know, this is going to be kind of exposed. So, you know, it's just softer, it's just nicer. So I put that side up, and I just staple this. Put staple in the end. Make sure it's lined up. Okay, and then I like to just one a little farther in, just to be safe. Okay, and then come back over here, and then on this end do the same thing, although my stapler's not going to really fit that well that way. You can come in the other direction, whatever. You can do them all, you can do both sides the same so it all looks the same, but I'm not too concerned about looks, but maybe you are, and that is cool. Okay, so like that, and that's enough. I like to also put some staples in the middle just to hold this down a little better. And I'm just going to eyeball what the middle is. Okay, just like that. You might be concerned about the other end of the staples poking through and like scratching your flash, but in my experience, if you have a good stapler, there is nothing really poking out, and you know, I'm not that concerned. I don't buy the most expensive flashes in the world, so if they get a little scraped up, whatever. But if you're concerned about that, a couple things you can do. You can, you know, make sure these are pounded in so that the ends are pointed into the foam. You could also put something over this. You could put another piece of foam over this. Cut out some extra foam and just boom, put it over that. You'll never see those sides of the staples. They'll never touch your flash, and it would be good, but I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, so you just have basically one other thing left to do, but the way this works, I like to put it on the flash when I do this next part. So you just wrap it around like this, and then the Velcro comes over like that. I just eyeballed this. I thought I would have to cut that shorter, but actually that's probably a good length anyway. Actually a little longer I probably would have preferred, but whatever. This Velcro is going to hold. It's going to be good. So now the last thing we need to do is we need to put Velcro here and here, so that you can Velcro it like that, okay, and make a hood shape. So you reflect the light, boom, and it bounces. Now, you could glue that, or double-sided tape, something like that, or staples, and just make that permanent. I prefer to use the Velcro because then I can take this off when I'm not using it, and I can store this flat, and it's out of the way. It'll even fit in like a folder in a backpack or something like that. So that's what I prefer. Do it your way, whatever way works best for you. So I like to put it on the flash though, because on the flash it gives this a little bit of a curve. I kind of use that to kind of judge where to put the Velcro. I like to put the soft part on the black, the soft loop, or yeah, loop part, and then the rougher hook part on the white. Just again, then the black is it's all soft. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Instead of using the strips, you can use, they make Velcro with the adhesive in squares and circles. You could use that, and they're super easy. You just pop them. I like to use this because I like to make a little longer, so that you can adjust it. You know, you can have a little more of a hood, a little less of a hood, just depending on the situation and what you're trying to do. So when this is bent, I don't know if you can see that, I'm gonna want this side in this orientation, okay? So let's do that first. And I like to go about 1.5 inches with these. My cutting mat has markings, so I can just measure right there, which is nice. So on the inner one, the white part, we're going to put this in that orientation. So let's do that. Okay, and then flip it over, and you notice this, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, as it bends over, it'll be more in a orientation like that. So they'll actually be perpendicular when it's flat like this. So I'm going to put now the loop, the soft part, like that. All right, 1.5 inches is plenty big. On this smaller size diffusers, 1 inch might even be just fine. But then you just take that, boom, and boom. There you go. Very simple, cheap. But if all of that was too complicated or too expensive for you, what you can do is you can just print out the template, cut it out, and tape it to the flash. And actually that works quite well. It's not perfectly efficient. You get a lot of light leak out the back of the reflector, but it works. But the full version, the foam version, works a lot better. You get all that light getting bounced back to your subject. The small size is convenient because it prints on one standard sheet of paper. The big size is actually nice because the template fits perfectly on one sheet of 9x12 foam. So that's kind of nice. So I've found that this reflector works very well for macro shots, and I took some photos just around the house using it, and I think they turned out quite well. This also works quite well for a portrait flash. So you just, if your flash rotates like this, like many of them do, if you flip it up like this, it creates a nice diffused light for portrait photography, and it takes some very nice shots that way as well. So it's a very versatile, very efficient flash diffuser. I hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching. Hey, wasn't completely my idea, my design. I will link to down in, I didn't design this completely by myself. Okay, so there's not that many pieces. And then some Velcro. I like using adhesive.